good morning. It's 7:04 on this Thursday, January 9th. It's time to head to Studio B for Coleman and Company.
Hello, everybody, and welcome. Here we are on a cold one, a cold Thursday morning here in the Cedar City. We welcome you to our program, and we welcome Ronnie Kelly this morning to talk about Bates Ford. Ronnie, good morning to you.
Good morning.
You're going to be doing it solo today. Paul Tubbs is not with us.
Not with us today. A little bit under the weather.
Well, we are glad to have you as always, and we always have to say Bates Ford, 1780 Franklin Road, Lebanon, Tennessee, the dealer that'll trade for anything it don't eat.
You are correct.
And Ronnie, of course, has now been in sales for the Ford dealership here for 38 years, and I say it that way because once upon a time it was Burchett Ford, and you were there a long time ago, 38 years ago.
Yes.
And now it's Bates Ford, of course, and has been for some time, and you're still going strong.
We're still going strong.
They love you so much they let you come out here and do the commercials.
Let me do the commercials. That's a great thing.
Well, what I know you want to talk about Ford, F-100, and a lot of other things.
Right. We got the Ford F-150 again.
150.
Yes, 150, and we have a lot of great rebates on those trucks right now. 1.9 on 60 month plus rebates also. And we have a great selection of those F-150s. And not only F-150s, we have F-250, 350s, and we have a great selection of those. And at once upon a time, we didn't have that many vehicles, but we have them now, so you need to come on down to Bates Ford.
Well, there's probably two reasons for that. One, there was just a shortage back in the days of COVID and so on, and things that were going slower and whatever. They just weren't available. But the other thing is your new location. You got room to have more.
We got room to have more, and at this point, we are really, our lot is full of brand new vehicles and a whole lot of used vehicles.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, you've seen a lot in your 38 years selling cars. Mm-hmm. You've seen inflation come along. It takes more to get any just about now than it did 20 years ago.
Yes.
Or 38 years ago when you started.
Yes, I go back, and when I first started and seen trucks would be very priced, real reasonable. Now you're looking at trucks in the 60s and 70,000 range.
But people love them, and they love these Ford's F-150s and 250s.
Mm-hmm.
But especially the 150 is a little bit less expensive than the 250, isn't it?
Correct. Mm-hmm.
And so that's one reason it's maybe a little more popular. But they're all pretty much designed similarly, with a little more extras, I guess, with the bigger ones.
Right, and a lot of times people need a work truck. And that 250 is a great work truck, and sometimes they need the gas engine, and a lot of times they need a diesel. And that diesel engine is a little bit more money. Mm-hmm. So, but a lot of people use those vehicles. If you go back and look at LoJack only, they use F-150s, 250s, 350s, and they bought them every month they were buying so many vehicles.
Well, as far as pre-owned cars, how's your selection?
We got a great selection of pre-owned cars, and one good thing about us now, since we're in a new location, we have a great variety of different makes and models. And so if you are in the market for a used vehicle, if you come down to Bates Ford and talk to one of our friendly sales staffs, and they'll show you around our lot, because we have a lot of vehicles around that, they may not be online right now because they hadn't went through service. Mm-hmm. So we may have something there that we may not have online.
Well, we know what the weather is forecast to be tomorrow, and probably not a good day to sell cars, but you'll be there.
We'll be there, and we'll have plenty of four-wheel drives.
And that's another thing people can consider, especially if you're going to be driving in the snow or where it's more difficult for traction and that sort of thing.
Yes. In the business, I've been in this business many years. Most of the time when it snows, a lot of people come in looking for four-wheel drives.
Yeah.
And we make sales on those also. So it'd be a good thing to come in tomorrow if you can.
Well, we have when we talk with you, it's mostly about the cars and trucks and the vehicles. But, of course, you have service to back up any sale. And that's important, even though you're not directly involved with the service. You know a lot about it.
Right. I know a lot about the service. We have a special on oil change. I want to say at $39.95 up to 5 quarts. And we don't just put oil in your car. We do an inspection on the whole car and make sure everything is good. And when you look at also in our service department, we have a pickup service.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you are working and you don't have time to get out to get your oil changed, if you just give us a call at Bakes Ford, and we'll pick up your car and bring it back.
And that number is 615-444-8221.
Yes, sir.
And that'll get somebody to pick up your car and service and bring it back. You can't beat that.
You can't. That's a great opportunity, because a lot of times, if you want to sleep in on Saturday, you can sleep in and you can be at work, and we'll come by and pick it up and take that worry off of you.
Right. Of course, you have, Paul always says nobody will beat your price on tires.
Right.
And you got a great deal on batteries.
Great deal on batteries.
I've experienced that myself, and it's really you price batteries at other places, and you'll find them less expensive at Bates Ford.
Yes, I experienced that a couple weeks ago. I bought one for myself.
All right. Well, that about takes care of our time this morning, but Ronnie, stay safe, stay warm if you can, and we'll do it again next Thursday.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you much. All right, again, that's Bates Ford, 1780 Franklin Road, the dealer, the trade for anything it don't eat. We're about 10 and a half after the hour, and on this Thursday each month, we feature the Lebanon Police Department, and today we've got 2 people named Zach with us. Zach Patton, good morning to you.
Good morning, Coleman. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing well. And Zach Green, we welcome you again.
Good morning.
Well, what are you doing today? Waiting for tomorrow's order, or?
We're definitely prepping for tomorrow. We're expecting some snow, so I hope you got a good sled, Coleman. You can. I want to see a picture of you sliding down a hill somewhere.
Well, it's January, and we can usually expect some snow, but. The last I think I saw was either 3 or 4 to 7 or 8 inches, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Well, just to give you an idea of what's going on, and I must preference, we're not meteorologists, but we have a really close partnership with the National Weather Service, and all of our information comes from them, and we've been getting updates from them hourly for, probably the past 48 hours, and we'll continue to do that today. We've got a special 1 p.m. meeting with them today, to sit down and kind of go over the forecast again. But right now, they're expecting between 4 and 6 inches of snow, so that's a decent amount. Start time of this snow event is going to be between 6 and 9 a.m. Right now, I think that it's leaning towards 6 a.m., 7 a.m. areas when that snow is going to start. It's going to start out light, so if you're traveling in the morning, there's probably not going to be any travel impacts, but where the problem's going to come in, the heavier snow is going to start late morning, early afternoon. So, if you get off work tomorrow, there's probably going to be some travel impacts. So if there's any way you can work from home tomorrow, or, you don't have to work tomorrow, it may be a good idea, just because we're expecting some travel impacts tomorrow afternoon. So
what will tomorrow most likely consist of for the policemen who are on patrol? Wrecks? Is fender benders, the snow-related?
Well, yeah, wrecks are something that does happen in the snow. Unfortunately, the city doesn't stop in other things. So on top of dealing with any snow related crashes or calls for service, they'll be handling their other calls for service. Now, our emergency services unit officers will be in, and they'll be primarily handling wrecks and things like that. So even though with the snow, our officers still have to deal with other things around the city.
Yeah.
So.
Well, Zach Green, we didn't let you say much this morning. Anything you want to add to that?
Absolutely. I can talk a little bit more about, driving safely. Like you brought up the wrecks, this is one of the higher times a year that we see a spike in traffic crashes. So, when you're driving in the snow, if you have to, right, like Zach had said, if you don't have to, don't. But if you are going to drive in the snow tomorrow, make sure you're driving slow. Make sure you're paying attention to the roads. Make sure you're taking it easy. If you do happen to get in a wreck, and you can pull over to the side of the road safely. Turn on your emergency flashers, call us at 444-2323, or if you have if it's a serious injury crash, if you have anything else going on where you feel like you need to call 911, call 911, and we'll send officers out there as quick as we can.
Well, I've driven in snow quite a bit, and many times just 2.5 miles from my house to the radio station, and I want to think I'm fairly good driving in snow, but two things really that I try very, very hard to be careful about. One is to go slow, just a lot slower than usual, just very, very slow rate speed, really. And the other is to try not to get too close to the car in front of me, to leave plenty of distance in case you start slipping or sliding or whatever. And I think that's helped me a lot.
Absolutely. With the the snow on the ground, with the snow comes ice. Once it starts to melt, that stopping distance is going to close. You're not gonna have what you would on a dry asphalt 30-mile-an-hour day. You're gonna have to plan for much, much more.
Okay, we need to take a break right here. We've got more to talk about with our two Zachs this morning. Zach Green, Zach Patton from the Lebanon Police Department here on Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to Absolute Kubota. They have a deal designed to keep you ahead of schedule. Check out the world's #1 selling compact excavator plus 0% financing going on now until the end of the year. Absolute Kubota, 1506 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. Wrapping up an accident. It's going to be right there in the Midtown area, Charlotte Ave and 26th Avenue, as that traffic builds right now on 24 westbound, coming in from Murfreesboro, Rutherford County, up through the Antioch area. They're still gathered up around that crash in South Nashville, 1400 block of Murfreesboro Pike. When you need dependable towing, make sure you call STR Towing and Recovery. Check them out right now at strtow.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
A.G. Johnson is your experienced real estate and auction company, specializing in residential, commercial, and personal property auctions. Did you know that auctions are a fast and efficient way to sell your property? Auctions reduce time on the market and have an exact selling date. Call us for an in-home consultation today at 615-444-0909. A.G. Johnson Realty and Auction, 728 West Main Street in Lebanon, or find us online at agandjohnson.com. Voted best auction company in Wilson County.
We continue here on this Thursday morning. Thanks for joining us. Officer Zach Patton and Zach Green, public information people with the city of Lebanon. All right, let's shift gears here a little bit and talk about the shooting at Walmart, which has been in the news quite a bit. Any light you can shed on that? If you want to, one of you just kind of take it from the beginning and what's happened. I understand that you were looking for somebody for a while, and somebody has been apprehended, and I think that is correct so far.
You're kind of on the right path there. So Saturday around, I think it was about 10:09, maybe 10:10 Saturday night, we received a couple 911 calls about shots being fired at Walmart. So, our officers were on scene within 3 minutes of that first call, and immediately went inside to start looking for, if there was a shooter or not. So our officers handled it extremely well with professionalism, and didn't shy away, and went inside and cleared the store, and then thankfully no one had been injured, and then the investigation kind of immediately started from there, and we learned quickly that this was an isolated incident between two individuals. They got into some kind of dispute inside the store and took it outside, and that's where it from security footage it appeared one of the individuals pulled out a firearm and at least shot one round at the ground. From there, we asked our public for assistance from the security footage that we had received from Walmart, and after a couple of days, I think we had a concerned citizen give our detectives a tip, and they were able to investigate that tip and get an identification on the suspect, and then from there we were able to work and locate that suspect in our criminal investigations division, along with our special operations division. Our SWAT team was able to locate him and took him into custody. So,
so he's been arrested.
Yes, the suspect.
out on bond or still incarcerated?
I assume he is still incarcerated. I don't know that for sure. The county kind of deals with that kind of stuff. But, like I said, we're thankful to get that suspect off the street, someone that causes disruption in our community. We live in a really good community, and that kind of stuff's not going to be tolerated. And, we're extremely proud of our detectives and all of our officers who responded and, who worked on this case to get it to where it is now. So.
Okay, Zach Green, you want to add to that? I mean, you're involved in, along with Zach Patton here, as to what goes on and informing the public and that sort of thing.
Absolutely, and I wasn't that incident. We were both on scene on that one for both the shooting itself and when they captured that suspect. Zach pretty much hit the nail on the head there. I think I do want to reiterate that kind of behavior is absolutely not going to be tolerated in the city. We have a very good criminal investigations division who is going to investigate to the ends of the earth to make sure our public and our community is safe. And I think we're very, very, very thankful of both that and the public's willingness to help in any kind of investigation.
Well, from what I've heard from you this morning, this appears to be something that could have happened almost anywhere, where two people disagree and become violent. So I guess we don't want to single out Walmart so much here. That's just where it happened. Just where it happened.
Correct. At the end of the day, it was just an isolated shooting between two parties. That could have happened anywhere in the city, like you had mentioned. But it happened at Walmart. It happened at Walmart during a peak shopping time. So we're gonna do everything in our power to make sure that this person is brought to justice.
And what is there are probably two or three things that he is charged with, but what would one or two of them be?
He was charged with aggravated assault and reckless endangerment with a firearm. He's being held on two $25,000 bonds, $50,000 in total.
Okay. All right. Well, let's move on to something else. What else is going on? You two are very active in our community. I guess representing the police department. I know at the Senior Citizen Center from time to time. I waved at Zach Patton the other day across the room. I forgot what the occasion was now.
It was our
New Year's?
New Year's Day. Y'all had y'all's New Year's festivities,
Yeah.
so it was that. But no, we got a lot of community things coming on. Yeah, excuse me. Coming up today is actually National Law Enforcement Appreciation Day, so I must shout out all of our officers and all of our partner law enforcement agencies, and just saying, we appreciate our officers and appreciate our other agencies. But Zach can definitely talk more about our community engagement initiatives going on right now.
Well, we appreciate you all.
Well, we appreciate you.
Absolutely. So next Tuesday we've got Coffee with a Cop out at Claiborne's Bakery. Again. Love Coffee with a Cop. That's a fantastic opportunity to interact with our community on our side and our community to interact with us on theirs.
When you're there, get Rick Smith to slow down and drink a cup with you.
We'll have to. Aside from that, we've got Chicken with a Cop coming in late February. We'll post about that. And we're gearing up to get ready to start our Citizens Police Academy. Come March 6th will be that first date. We're working on getting that application up and getting that posted, and we'll be really excited for our community to come in and join us.
Well, will the two of you be doing that, or at least be greatly involved in the Police Academy?
Absolutely. So Zach and I both will head that up, and then we'll have representatives from different divisions within the police department coming in and educating the public on our Citizens Police Academy on different aspects of the police department.
Well, I know this has been going on for quite some time. PJ used to talk about this when he would come out here, something he was very much involved with, and a lot of people have done that and learned so much more about, and there's just so much involved that you don't even think about that is brought out when you spend a few nights learning all of that.
Absolutely. And it's a fantastic opportunity for us to be a little bit more transparent with our community. Those who get involved get to see a little bit of the backside and what goes on behind the scenes of the police department, and how each individual division works together to meet that common goal of protecting our community.
Well, I think there's one of those nights that most people that participate, maybe all of them, especially if they want to, get to ride for a while with a police officer.
So we set up the ride-along program, or we set up the ride-alongs through the program. Our nights are pretty full with different teachings, but each member of the Citizens Police Academy has the opportunity to conduct a ride-along with an officer.
That has got to be eye-opening, especially if you haven't done it before.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We had about 5 minutes left here this morning. I certainly appreciate y'all being with us. Again, the weather can play such an important part. I mean, just thinking about what I've seen on TV with the fires out in Los Angeles, it is so awful to have to sit even and watch that and just imagine what it's like for those people. And some of them are some very affluent people with their rich as far as worldly goods goes and all of this, and here their whole homes just going up in flames and wind blowing so hard. I mean, some of them I saw on TV last night. Somebody had a hose and was wetting down his house, but even so, it didn't help when the wind comes in there at, I don't know, 60, 80 miles an hour and just fanning those flames, and it's so devastating and so awful to have to even sit there and watch it, and your heart just goes out to them who's losing so much. I mean, even if you got insurance, think of all the personal things that are going to get destroyed that you never see again. It's hard to take, hard to watch for me.
Absolutely. And you can definitely see that the weather plays an impact in our daily lives. And I think Zach's got a little bit more about the weather coming up, but it can be devastating. Yeah. So we're trying to prevent as much as we can.
Well, you as the information officers, you're watching that weather for everybody's good here, but I don't guess anything's changed in the last 20 minutes since we started.
No, just like as Zach said, and you said, if you do have to travel tomorrow, it's going to be tomorrow afternoon when you kind of see those, when you run into kind of those travel impacts, give yourself plenty of room, stay off your phone. Pay attention to the person in front of you. Give yourself extra time. Please don't get into a hurry. Carry an emergency kit with you in your car. Blanket, water, just in case you were to wreck or somehow get stranded or get stuck. Just so you have, the resources to help get you through. If you're at home, maybe check on your neighbor. Take care of each other, because sometimes people get snowed in and they can't get out and they don't want to drive. So if you got neighbors, check on them periodically just to make sure they're okay.
Would you like to own a grocery store today?
Believe it or not, I went and I love to drink milk. So I went last night, obviously, to get some milk because everyone else is, and sure enough, the milk was absolutely raided from Walmart. So I don't know if it's just people decide they want to drink milk when it decides to snow, or it just I'm not for sure. But it's the bread milk thing is very real.
Well, years ago when I sold advertising for the radio station here, I had an account out on North Cumberland, Al's Food Market, and his son took it over and all that, and then it's changed hands again. I think Mike probably has it now, but this was when it was much smaller, and Al Carmen pretty much ran that. But when I'd go in there to get his specials to put on radio, if it was in the wintertime at all, he'd tell them it's going to snow. Tell them it's going to snow. Oh, because that does it. And today, as everybody gets ready for it tomorrow, it'll be a good grocery store day, no doubt.
Yep. We'll be here. Our officers will be here. Emergency Services Unit will be here working. Our dispatchers will be working. Me and Zach will be working, giving you updates on social media and stuff. So if you need updates, give us a follow on social media. Make sure you have a good, reliable notification system, and just keep an eye on the weather.
How do you access that on your computer or phone?
Yeah, so
the phone is a computer, but anyway.
Yeah, you can check us out on Facebook or Twitter. Those are kind of our two main notification sources. We do have a text alert system that we only kind of use in major incidents. If you're interested in signing up for that, you can go to LebanonPD.org/alerts, and that'll take you to the page to kind of get you signed up for those alerts. So we'll probably send out something today, just a reminder on the winter weather. So,
and you two are pretty much responsible for what goes on there on Facebook, on your
yes, sir.
The information's available to the public. Y'all edit that, put it there for the most part.
Yeah, we do. Our goal is to provide the best information possible to our public for them to make an informed decision. So hopefully from the information that we provide, you all as public can make the best and safest decision for yourself, whatever that may be.
All right. Well, snow going to start arriving here in the morning, 4 or 5 o'clock maybe. It's
6 to 9 range.
And what'd you say, 4 to 6 inches?
4 to 6 inches right now, but could be less, could be more. So
okay. Well, thank you both for being with us today. Zach Patton, Zach Green with the Lebanon Police Department. And that is part one of Coleman and Company. We've got more. Keep it right here at FM 98.9.
Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to Bates Ford. Get a battery installed on most vehicles. $149.95. Bates Ford, 1780 Franklin Road. Now at traffic. Here's Chuck.
Good morning. Trying to wrap up this wreck. 65 southbound just past Vietnam Vets. That's why it's been a little bit slow on 65 South coming out of Goodlettsville. Here on 65 South at Vietnam Vets. Still moving right now. 24 through the Antioch area. It's building on I-40 coming in from Hermitage through Donaldson up by the airport. When you need dependable roofing for a roof repair, roof inspection, anything happening with your roof, call Independent Roofing Specialist. Check out irsroofs.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Hey, this is Paul with Bates Ford. Have I got some exciting news for you? Bates Ford's moved into our new location at 1780 Franklin Road. That's right, Bates Ford's at 1780 Franklin Road, just off Hartman Drive and Interstate 40. We've got a much larger selection of vehicles to choose from, a state-of-the-art double-sized service department. So come see us at 1780 Franklin Road. That's Bates Ford, 615-444-8221. Bates Ford, a dealer will trade for anything that don't eat.
What is your passion? How can you use that passion to enrich your community? Hi, this is Melanie Minter, President and CEO of the Lebanon-Wilson County Chamber of Commerce. Your chamber is the resource for making connections to fulfill your passion. Whether education, nonprofit, agriculture, entertainment, or government relations, Wilson County offers a place for you to be involved. Your chamber connects businesses, individuals, and your passion to the community. We have an enthusiasm for excellence. Join us and catch the spirit. Call or visit our office at 149 Public Square in Lebanon.
We're still watching the winter storm that will be moving in later tonight into Friday. But before that, we'll have mostly sunny skies today. Highs in the mid-30s. Cloudy tonight. Lows in the mid-20s. Snow moves in on Friday. 1 to 3 inches the way it looks right now. Highs in the mid-30s. This weather forecast brought to you by Walker Auction and Realty, professional auction and real estate services. Get top dollar for your home, land, or personal property. Log on to MikeWalkerAuctions.com. They know auctions. With your Severe View forecast, I'm Drew Richards.
We welcome you to part two of Coleman and Company. It's a Thursday. Thursdays at this time we feature A.G. & Johnson Realty and Auction. It's located at 728 West Main in Lebanon and has been community trusted since 1977. Helene Singer Cash is right here. Good morning.
Good morning. I've not been there since 1977.
Actually, A.G. & Johnson hasn't been at that location since 1977, but they've been there for a long time.
Yeah, but we've been in the community.
You have. And you've got a really nice place there.
We do, don't we?
You do.
We're right there, right in the middle, right in the heart of everything.
And, of course, you can go to www.agandjohnson.com if you want to know more than you're going to hear here. But one of the big things we've got to tell you this morning is there's an absolute auction scheduled for tomorrow, and it is
Saturday. Today's Thursday.
All right.
Please don't confuse me.
I've got my days mixed up all week, but...
Hey, I'm easily confused.
But, you have a lot of Saturday auctions, and you have one for this Saturday, January 11th, 10 a.m., and right now it is on.
It is, as of today, right now, it's 7:33 on Thursday morning. It is on. We've had a lot of questions about it because of the impending weather, but as of right now, we are still having it. So come out and be with us. This is a highly anticipated auction. We've been talking about it for a while. It has autos, tractors, trailers, farm equipment, tools. There's so much at this auction. So come out and be with us. Come out and dress warm. This is going to be a little chilly. Put on those snow boots and come be with us. But honestly,
this
Coleman,
will be on the outside,
it will be on the outside.
not inside,
Not
a
inside.
barn or anything like
So
that.
I've said, so this is farm equipment.
Yeah.
And the people that are coming out for this farm equipment, this is nothing to them. This is another day. This is another walk in the park for them. They brave this weather every single day.
So that's another reason to consider not to postpone it because of that.
Yeah, this is nothing for them. This is what they do. I mean, think about it. These are farmers. These are people that are outside in the elements every single day. This means nothing to them.
All right.
So,
Autos, tractors, trailers, farm equipment, tools, much more.
yes, and we have John Deere. We have green equipment out there. So this is a great sale for equipment. But I am going to say the weather is unpredictable, and every single meteorologist has said this weather system is a little bit unpredictable. So pay attention to our Facebook page, our social media, and our website, or call the office at 615-444-0909. If you're unsure, if you want to make sure, get the most up-to-date information, because there might be a shift in the weather. Something might happen. In all the history of A.G. Johnson since 1977, there's been one auction that has been postponed.
Really?
Only one.
Only one.
Only one since 1977. So I don't want this to be number two. But honestly, if you're unsure, if you think the weather's taking a change, you can look at our social media. You can look at our website. We will keep it up to date. We will let you know if there is a change. I will absolutely send out an email blast if you've signed up for our email blasts. I will keep everyone up to date. Social media, website, email blasts. We will let you know every way we can if there is a change.
All right, but you've got a lot of things.
A lot of things. We have a lot of things. We'll be out there for the day.
Very desirable items.
Absolutely.
A lot of them. And on this flyer, at least a third of the page there is listing so many of them.
Absolutely. And it's listed on the website. There's a lot of information. But if you're interested in farm equipment, tools, autos, tractors, trailers, front-end loaders, all the things that I know nothing about, this is the auction for you. But if you're curious or not sure about the weather, you can get on our social media. You can get on our website. Call the office. Call Jay. Call Jim. The phone numbers are on the flyer. Anybody can help you if you're unsure about the weather. If you're unsure if we're still hosting the auction, you can call us on Friday.
All right. And the location again is 1639 Murfreesboro
Road. At the foot of 4 Mile Hill.
All right. Out 231 South.
Absolutely.
All right. If you are interested in auctions later on, you need to call the number we just gave you and allow enough time for it. But you've got some slots to fill the rest of the year.
We always have an opportunity for another auction. So just give us a call and we'll be happy to come out and talk to you about the opportunity of an auction and see if your situation fits the needs of an auction or a traditional real estate listing.
Yeah.
We'd love to have a visit with you.
And if it's the other side that you want to talk about, you can talk with people about that yourself as well.
Absolutely.
And do quite often, I understand.
That's a big part of what we do. That's what fills our days.
Yeah. All right. Again, there will be the auction tomorrow, barring a change.
Yep.
But as of now, it is on, starting at 10 o'clock at 1639 Murfreesboro Road. So I guess that kind of takes care of it this morning.
Yeah, so as they said in the segment before me, slow and steady wins the race when we're out there driving in the snow.
There you go.
All right. Thank you, Coleman.
Thank you. Helene Cash with A.G. Johnson Realty and Auction. Give them a call, 615-444-0909. All right, we are now 22 minutes before the hour, and I'm going to go to the telephone. This morning, Congressman John Rose is my guest for part 2, and I understand he is on the phone. So, Congressman, if you're there, good morning.
Good morning. morning, Coleman. Thanks for having me on the show this morning.
Well, it's my pleasure, and I see now that Ray Render has just walked in, and he's brought a cup of coffee in here to sit and sip while he and I listen to you. Ray, good morning.
Good morning.
All right. Well, Congressman, what's it like? You're in D.C., I understand.
Right, yes. We convened on Monday for the certification of the Electoral College, and have had been an interesting week because, of course, we have the state funeral lying in state of former President Jimmy Carter, and that has kind of slowed things down a little in terms of the actual legislative agenda, but certainly appropriate to honor a great former leader of our country.
Well, I want to jump right into what happened when you reconvened in the choosing of the Speaker of the House. There was 3 Republicans who did not vote for the Speaker who was elected. But then I understand the story I got was President Trump talked to a couple of them and got them to change their mind, and then we got the Speaker in there, and I guess that avoided a lot that happened last year about this time.
Well, yes, last 2 years ago, when we were trying to elect a Speaker, as you remember, I believe it took 17 ballots or 17 votes or so before we got to an outcome, and as it turned out here, there was a little bit of smoke, but no fire. In that we did that on the initial roll call. We had 3 members who voted for someone other than Johnson, and several people who didn't vote initially, but appears that at the end of the day they were just, I guess, attempting to send a signal. And they did so, but then ultimately all but one of those holdouts either voted for Johnson or changed their vote to Johnson.
Well, you were one, of course, who voted for Speaker Johnson. What kind of marks do you give him? He's had this for several months now, and you hear some criticism. I guess you're going to hear criticism of anybody, really, on points where you don't agree or whatever. But how do you rate him?
Well, I mean, I'll begin by rating him and saying I think he is doing a very good job under the difficulties that he works under, with a very narrow Republican majority. At times, it has been as narrow as 1 vote, and we're headed back there again here in just a few weeks as President Trump's nominees step aside to take their positions in the administration, and then it will be a while before their replacements are elected in special elections in their respective states. So, when you have a body with 435 members, and it takes 218 if they're all there to win a vote, and you have just a 1 vote majority, it means you can only lose 1 person, and that's difficult. And so Speaker Johnson's been working through that, and I think doing an excellent job. We have some folks who, in my opinion, let perfect be the enemy of good. And when you're in this legislative process with that many people involved, one of the things that is just the nature of that is that you're going to have to compromise, and so the art of that compromise becomes very difficult when you have to get literally everyone to agree in order for something to move forward without the help of Democrats. And so there have been times when we've had Republicans who just, because they had such strident positions on something, they've taken the position that, well, I'm just not going to vote no matter what, and or I want something that is so difficult for everyone else to come along that if I get what I want, then we'll lose other votes. And so then we end up having to compromise with the Democrats, which kind of defies me because, those folks who are holding out are in fact causing us to get even less of what they want because of their obstinance or recalcitrance in terms of holding out for whatever it might be. And so that, Speaker Johnson is the guy who has to navigate that, try to keep everyone happy. You hear lots of metaphors, herding the cats and things of that sort, and I think those are pretty apt for the way that it ends up working. And so, it's hard not to become, and I know the voters and listeners probably feel the same way, it's hard not to become a little skeptical when you see this all unfolding. And it can be very frustrating, and certainly participating in it and having to help navigate it can be very frustrating. But I will say I think it is the system that the founders gave us, and while it is frustrating and at times, you wonder how we're going to get to the outcome, the truth is this system has served us very well. So I always recall when I'm talking about this thing, I always recall the old adage of the democratic process, probably the worst form of government except for all the others.
Yeah. All right. We're about time to take a break. We come back. I want to talk about what you expect is going to happen even on the 20th when President Trump's inaugurated. So hold on right there, and we'll continue in a moment. This is Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
Let's see what's happening on the roadways, and it's all brought to you by Absolute Kubota. They have a deal designed to keep you ahead of schedule. Check out the world's #1 selling compact excavator with 0% financing going on now until the end of the year. Absolute Kubota, 1506 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. They're in the clearing stages of this earlier wreck on 65 southbound just past Vietnam Vets. At one point, it was really affecting that traffic as you come off Vietnam Vets onto 65, going southbound, backing it up into Goodlettsville as well, making things slow, coming down past Long Hollow Pike on 65 south. Again, as they work this accident just past Vietnam Vets, try to load up a little bit more volume. 24 westbound up through the Antioch area coming in right now from Murfreesboro, Rutherford County. Princess Hot Chicken has karaoke tonight at the Tanger location. Check out princesshotchicken.com for all the details. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
The refreshing cool after coming in from a hot summer day. The perfect temperature to kick off your shoes and relax with a good book. When the weather heats up, a new Rheem AC system will surround your family in total comfort. Are you feeling it? Rheem, the new degree of comfort.
Financing available through TVA's Energy Right program and your local power company. Call Randy's Heat and Air 237-3604.
Rheem, the new degree of comfort.
All right, we welcome you to our final segment of Coleman and Company, and if you joined us a little bit late here for part two, Congressman John Rose is with us. He is speaking on the phone in Washington, D.C. Ray Render is here. Ray, again, before we get back to Congressman Rose, how are things with you? You're smiling as always.
Well, everything's great in the district. If we can help you with anything, please call Kim Mash, and also Taylor's now with us up in our Gallatin office. Happy to help you with anything where you need help with the federal government.
All right. Well, it's always good to see you.
Good to see you, sir.
And this is another way that you go out of your way, really, to just be here in case something happens. If something happened that the phone call didn't go through, or there was a wreck on the way to the office for the congressman or whatever, you're here as a backup. But we appreciate that.
Well, I know I have to bring you and Susie donuts, or we can't get in the door. So.
Okay, Congressman Rose, back to you. We are a few days away from the inauguration. And what do you expect a lot to actually happen on January 20th as far as actions by the president, in addition to being inaugurated, but some things that he's going to do right off the bat?
I do, and you see some of that being talked about in the news, and in some cases, we're seeing more specifics about that. But I would expect a fairly robust set of executive orders, several in number and far-reaching in scope. Many of those will be reversing actions that were similarly taken by the President Biden when he was sworn in 4 years ago. But, you'll see the president, I think, going after issues like the border wall and immigration and energy and access to of our nation's energy producers to public lands and leases, and clearing away some of the restrictions and regulations that are within the province of the president to do so. So I think it'll be a pretty active first day. There's a lot of kind of more behind the scenes administrative orders that affect ways in which the government operates that are, again, reflective of the conservative principles that President Trump has talked about, and saving money, that sort of thing. So I think you'll see him moving very quickly. They've been working at a breakneck pace to get ready for these things.
Wondering about, he has pretty much, I guess, just about every cabinet position, he's even created maybe one or two new ones that he's wanting to have, and all of this. How difficult, or how soon, how do you feel that the approval, some of them probably going to be fairly soon, others may take a while, but we want to know what you think about that.
Well, sure. So I think that, I think he has appointed a really strong slate of nominees or designees for the various presidential appointment positions. And there's a huge number of those, into the hundreds. But, of course, we focus on the cabinet secretaries and the key positions in the White House. And so those are the ones that get all the press. There are many, many more beyond that. The Senate is working behind the scenes on that. There's a lot of FBI background check things, that have to be done. And there's been a little bit of, static around that because obviously the president is concerned about the nature of the FBI and the management there. And I would say for good reason, given some of the failures that we've seen. But that will all begin to happen, and is in fact happening as we speak. And in the days ahead. So, the hope would be that the president is able to get his nominees through. And I think it's encouraging. And, of course, we're excited to have a number of Tennesseans, but three in particular that I'll mention. Pete Hegseth from the 6th District, who lives up in Sumner County, who has been named by the president for the position of Secretary of Defense, and is just excellent guy and highly qualified, and all the news reports and discussions I've had with members of the Senate. I was talking with the senator last night about this, and it looks very encouraging that Hegseth will get the votes necessary to get confirmed. That's what we hope will happen, and I think then he can get to work making needed reforms at the Defense Department. And Morgan Ortagus, who I saw and was with last night, who has been named as a special envoy to the Middle East for Middle East peace, and another just stellar pick by the president in my view. She's so highly qualified. And then one that probably fewer people around our area are aware of, but Judge Stephen Vaden, who currently sits on the Court of International Trade in New York, has been named as deputy or nominated to be Deputy Secretary of Agriculture. And Stephen Vaden is from a farm in Obion County, the Union City area, and he served in the last Trump administration as general counsel at the Department of Ag. So some great appointments there. Many others that you've heard about reported in the news that I think will be do an excellent job, and we're hopeful to see those confirmations by the Senate progress quickly.
There are some who look at what the president's wanting to do, and I mean it's like we were headed to the promised land or something. I mean the next 4 years are going to be some of the best years the country has ever had, and with a lot of the problems that we face, I'm a little skeptical. But what do you envision really for 4 years of President Trump here, as far as our country goes, the economy, the peace in the world, or war, hopefully peace? What could you kind of think about we might face the next 4 years?
Well, I think that there's a lot of optimism, and I think that is real and tangible because, frankly, the Biden administration and their policies have really been had a very negative impact on the economy and on business investment, the mindset of entrepreneurs. This president President Biden has put in place 1,000, I talk about this on the show often, 1,184 new final regulations just in the last 4 years that cost the American economy $1.9 trillion, and these are all incremental just in the last 4 years. These aren't the regulations that we've all lived with over time. These are new ones that the Biden administration put in place. And they take 359 million hours, of course these are estimates of Americans' time, to comply, again, with these new regulations. And so we saw in the first Trump administration, he had a policy that for every new regulation you had to repeal one. And I think you'll see him pick up right where he was. And some of that can be done through executive action. Some of that will require congressional action. And, of course, we expect to see Democrats fight some of these things, so they'll get tied up in the courts, regretfully. But I think that what I'm hearing from entrepreneurs and business people in the financial sector is that they are very hopeful about the ability to kind of get back to work, get back in the game, and you see, you've seen lots of foreign direct investment announcements that are being made, because I think this has also been a deterrent to people bringing their capital to the United States. Businesses don't want to invest if there's uncertainty about those investments, and how the government will treat them. And so I think that just the promise of a better environment from a regulatory perspective is going to be very helpful. And then restoring trust of the American people in the justice system, I think, sends the right signal. Providing greater certainty about the enforcement of the law, such as our immigration laws. Again, I think these things all bode well for things going well. And, one of the top priorities we have in Congress is to make permanent the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act tax cuts that were part of President Trump's first administration. And just a note, because there'll be some controversy around this, and some will characterize this as a giveaway to the rich. But these tax cuts mainly affect small businesses and individuals. And if we don't extend those tax cuts, we will see the largest tax cut in tax increase in American history happen a year from now, and it will cost the average family in this country a couple $1,000s a year in added taxes. So it's a big issue, and it's particularly a big issue for small business, which represents 90% of businesses in this country, and you'd see their marginal tax rates rise by almost double if we don't get that done. So the prospect of solving all those problems, I think, is a real boon to the economy, and I think you'll see that play out in the days ahead as markets respond to the promise of those policies.
All right, we've got about 3 minutes. I'm going to mention 3 places in the world, and when I do, Greenland, Canada, and the Panama Canal. You know where I'm coming from here. They've been on the president's lips, or President Trump's lips here. Where's he coming from on this?
Well, it all is interesting, and I think as we've seen in the past, the president has a way of kind of knocking people off kilter with some of these ideas. The reality is that Greenland is situated in a very important place in terms of the security of North America, and I think that's what's driving the president's interest. And frankly, they have been inching toward independence. And so, of course, if they become independent of Denmark, of which they've been a colony or a possession, then they could fall into the sway of China or Russia. And I think the president is just moving proactively, and I think it may be real. In fact, legislation's been introduced that would if passed, give the president the authority to negotiate. There are only 57,000 people that live in Greenland. May come as a surprise to some listeners to know that. So it's a large land area and a very small population. And I think you're hearing the president enunciate the strategic importance. And now I'll move on to the Panama Canal. I think many people have long believed that President Carter made a mistake when he ceded the American control of the Panama Canal. What has really brought that into focus in recent years is that China has essentially taken over operation of the canal, and frankly, evidence that they're disfavoring U.S. Economic interest and trading and shipping interests in how they're operating the canal. And so I think this is a little bit of saber rattling on the part of the president to say to Panama, hey, we're not going to tolerate you letting China, almost the Monroe Doctrine being, used by President Trump to say, stay out of Western affairs, folks in other parts, in the, other side of the world. And then lastly, Canada, I think that's about trade and immigration. The Canadians under Prime Minister Trudeau have basically taken advantage of the trading relationship that they have with the United States, and we have a significant trade deficit with them, and then they have not been very active in enforcing their border, both in terms of controlling who comes into Canada and then who is able to come into the United States. So I think the president is, again, as he so often does, he is kind of rattling the saber that he has with a view toward hopefully bringing these countries to the negotiating table.
Congressman, it's so good to have you with us. Wish we had more time, but thanks for being with us this morning. We'll do it again next quarter. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's a great honor and privilege to represent the people of Tennessee in the United States Congress.
All right, that's it for Thursday. Join us tomorrow for Coleman and Company. Till then, I wish you a tremendous day.